Hello there, wiggers and niggers. It's uppity white guy again. UWG on this channel. So, okay. There's been a lot of press lately about these college presidents. All of them were broads, and probably all of them were quota hires. I can almost guarantee it. Okay, they don't want to give it to a white guy because they have to automatically promote some minority or a woman or whatever. Or they're racist, even though there's probably some white guy that's 10 times more qualified. They can't give it to one. Because heaven forbid we should do that. Give it to the most qualified people. So, anyway, I believe it was MIT, Penn State maybe? MIT, Penn, I think, and Harvard, of course. Air hearings about anti-Semitism, because this is getting ridiculous on campuses. I mean, we already lived, well, I didn't live through, but history, and some people alive today lived through the 30s and 40s. But apparently, the young people today don't even know any history. So they do not know how this shit started with the Jews. So we're just beginning to repeat it. It's amazing that shit gets repeated. You would think once it happens in history, something so horrific, it could not possibly happen again. And yet, here it comes around again, because people are fucking stupid. In this generation, I've said it 8 billion times, this Gen Z, or whatever the fuck it's called, is the dumbest fucking generation I have ever dealt with. You talk to a 20-year-old, they know everything, but they are so dumb they know almost nothing. Trust me, I've worked with plenty of them. It's like talking to a fucking brick. One of them I used to work with kept telling me, you know, all the benefits of communism. I don't know about all the people that were killed during, you know, these communist years, when Stalin was in office. I don't know if they felt the benefits. I think they starved to death. So that was a benefit. I guess they got skinny. And I mean, you gotta be really fucking dumb. You've got to be dumb. But, I don't know. These kids are so fucking stupid, you can't even talk to them because they know everything. They are so dumb. I've never seen a generation. And part of it is the schools. Again, reading, writing, arithmetic, and civics. That's it. That's it. You know, you don't need to teach all this other shit about cultural diversity. You know, you're not going to go get a job at the cultural diversity factory, okay? And don't say, oh, we need to enlighten. Okay, cut the shit, cut the shit. Your job should be given real-world skills so people get a job. The problem is when you go to college a lot of times, you're being taught by people that, one, maybe have never had a real job, and two, certainly don't have a real job now. It's not like they're digging a ditch or pounding nails. Or swapping out tires on something. You know, it's not happening. They're sitting back with a cushy fucking job. They're out of reality. These people shouldn't even be teaching. It should be people from the community. Unfortunately, a lot of times, like when I was in automotive school, we couldn't find enough teachers because they made more money out in the real world than they did teaching, so it's hard to get really good people to teach. And you bring somebody in from the private sector to teach, man, they make less money teaching a lot. I mean, they just don't want to do it. So you get these idiots that most of them have never been in the private sector, wouldn't know if it came and bit them on the ass cheek. All they've done is publish papers, and they're so smart and they're so scholarly. They've never left the building, so they don't. You know, this is what you get. Unfortunately, you get taught by people with no real-world skills, teach you no real-world skills, so you can go off in the real world and then bitch about shit. And this is what happens. And it's unfortunate. So anyway, the president of Harvard, this, I didn't write down the other lady's name. Son of a bitch! Okay, well, the president of Harvard, Claudine Gay, one, she's already been accused of plagiarism many times. But that don't matter. Harvard won't do anything about it. Because they got a black woman in the chair and they filled their quota now. that they had. See, look what we're doing. We're promoting DEA, and this is the most horrible. These initials are the most horrible initials or acronym, whatever, that you can imagine. Nowadays, companies are doing it. Schools are doing this DEI, not A. DEI, diversity and inclusion. It means anybody other than white. Anybody that has no common sense. This is what it is. Anybody who's a racist, come on in. So yeah, this is what it really means. And I'm sure she was a DEI hire, and she filled a quota system. Now, she could not sit there and say that it was in Harvard's code of conduct not to bully a Jewish kid. I mean, it's unfucking believable. And of course, all these broads that were up in Congress, these three chicks, head of different colleges, they were all coached. They were coached, of course, before they set foot before the Congress panel. They were all coached by some liberal retard lawyer who had his head up his ass, and it shows that they were coached. And don't say this, say that. They looked fucking retarded when they were up there. They're supposed to be very educated people. They looked like three dumb broads. I could not fucking believe it. And this one had to be one of the worst. She sat there and smirked. She was on a panel. Somebody should have slapped her fucking right upside her goddamn head. Kids do not pay over 20 grand a year to go to college, walk across campus, and have a mob of people chanting genocide to them. Of course they're going to feel unsafe. If they weren't chanting this shit to a Jewish kid, if they were chanting, if it was a group of white people chanting to a black person walking across campus, white power, they would have been expelled in 2 fucking seconds. We wouldn't even be hearing about this. But because it's a Jew, nothing was fucking done, and it goes on and on and on with this mental illness that's going on in this country. Oh, well, I can't say. They weren't specifically targeted. It doesn't matter. If they're walking across the campus and it's one person, I'd say they were specifically targeted. Oh, well, they didn't take it, it didn't move on to action. In other words, they didn't actually hit the person. All that person has to do is try and stand up for himself just once, and the mob will attack him, for Christ's sakes. And then they'll claim you can't throw us out of school because you're a racist, and on and on and on. This is how these things escalate. Again, person was hired probably because she's black and female. She wasn't hired because she has any common sense. She seemed to be about as dumb as a fucking stone. Then the other day you got the broad, and I didn't write down her fucking name. The broad who wrote the 1619 Project. Again, this is a racist piece of writing. Some journalist that works for New York Times, I believe, or the Post, not sure, wrote this book, the 1619 Project. And basically what it says is that the country was founded on racism, and it was founded about a year earlier than when the Mayflower landed. The country was founded when, during 1619, a ship called the White Lion landed. And the British brought over slaves, black slaves, and they fought for justice. And that's when the country was founded. It was founded on slavery. So it wasn't founded in 1776 or a year later after the 1619 landing when the Mayflower landed. No, the country was actually formed when the slaves got here. So the slaves founded America, this is a crock of shit. And I'd like to add, when the British ran the colonies, they also brought over Irish people too. But that's here nor there. Nobody cares about that. because it doesn't fit the story. I'm white, so Irish don't count. Go back to picking your potatoes, you fucking assholes, and destroying your livers. Look, so it doesn't fucking count. It only counts because the black people brought over, they were the only slaves in existence in the modern world. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. And so that's when the country was founded. It's revisionist history. It's written by a fucking retard that should be picking up my trash every week. But somehow, this is what gets as journalism today, and this is what gets us intellectual, I guess. And she's defending the broad who wrote the 1619 Project is now saying that the persecution of Claudine Gay, the Harvard president, is because she's black. No, I contend that's why she got hired in the first place for the fucking job. She's a plagiarist. In my opinion, she's probably a fucking racist. And she's no friend of the fucking Jews. That's for goddamn sure. So no. Wrong again, sweetheart. These two fucking retards should be out there picking up my fucking trash right now. Instead, one of them's the president of Harvard, which I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot fucking pole. Don't care about the Jews. Letting people get bullied all over the fucking campus. And where's this shit about bullying, by the way? Don't we have some horrible stuff about bullies and don't bully people nowadays and all this crap? But when it comes to Jews and white people, nobody gives a fuck. That's a fact. Nobody cares. Persecute them and whatever else. Right? And you get to keep your fucking job. I'm telling you right now, if these were white people on Harvard campus saying white power, this would be taken care of like that. It'd be no fucking problem. None. But no. It's against the fucking Jews, so we gotta let it go on. We can't define it. We can't define what bullying is. They don't have to feel safe at all. They only pay over 20 grand a year to get a fucking education here. I mean, Harvard's now a piece of shit. Just like the president who runs the fucking school. A piece of human crap is what it is. And this broad who wrote the 1619 Project, again, another fucking racist. And that's what we gotta deal with. These kids at best that follow these Jewish kids around and bully them, at best they should be put on academic probation immediately. One more peep out of them, throw them out of school. That's it. Deal with it quickly. Don't say, well, we don't know. Free speech. No. Fucking shit can that stuff, honey. This 1619 Project broad, people should call her what she is. She's a fucking racist. She hates white people and anybody else. She's trying to rewrite history. Look, if you don't like the country, just fucking leave. Nobody will care. Serious to God. Most of the country won't even fucking miss you. Go someplace else. Okay? There was a YouTuber, I think his name's Mr. Beast. He went over to Africa to shoot a fucking video. He's a white kid, I believe. And he dug 100 wells. 100 wells! And now in a lot of these villages they have fresh water. I'm sure other people dug with him, but I mean, he led the project. He dug 100 wells. Are you fucking kidding me? They're just now getting fresh water? We had to have a white YouTube kid go over to Africa? 1619, sweetheart. Why don't you go over to Africa and help the people over there? A white kid did it in like 20 minutes. This is why every time I see a minority hire, it's a fucking disaster. It's a fucking disaster. But a YouTube guy can go over there and get them fresh water in Africa in about 2 fucking minutes. He can find it in the ground. How the fuck is this possible? This is what I mean by saying, look, everybody should have a chance. If you're qualified, you should get an interview. But, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Not all races contributed equally, and not all of them are equal. Coming up with stuff. Africa's been around for how long? This kid goes over there, boom, wells. Fresh water. And he did it for a YouTube video or some shit. Holy fuck! Are you serious? Elon Musk, the most successful African-American man on the planet. He's white. And you people bitch and groan all the fucking time. Every time you do something wrong, it's racism, racism. Every time you fail, it's racism, racism. How many more times are we going to hear this fucking excuse? A Jewish kid walks across campus, does not have adequate protection, does not feel safe. The buck should stop at the president of the university, bar none. Oh, don't attack her, it's racism, it's racism. Are you fucking serious? The buck stops at her desk, honey. That's it. I don't fucking get it. The fuck is there to know? She should be fired, and all those kids should at least be put on academic probation. One more peep out of each of them, they're thrown out of fucking school. That's it. That'll start solving the fucking problem. But no, we gotta pontificate about this, and we gotta think, ah, fuck you. What do you think that Jewish kid's thinking about? He's thinking about, am I gonna get killed on the way to class? Really? He's gotta pay over 20 grand a year to worry about that? Are you fucking kidding me? Again, if it was a white person, this would be handled in two minutes. Flat. They're a racist, white supremacy, throw them out of school. But we gotta make all sorts of excuses for this DEI crap. All sorts of fucking excuses. Are you fucking kidding me? Fire this dumb bitch. Tell that 1619 chick, go leave the country and dig wells. You want to help your people? Go. Nobody will miss you here. We have water. We don't give a fuck about you. You're a racist. You're disgusting. End of story. Now pick up my trash on the way out and go dig some wells. You piece of shit. And Mr. Beast, good job. You're a much better person than me. Seriously. Okay. That's it for today. Why? Because, yeah, I got nothing else better to do. It's Florida. We're floating away down here. A lot of rain. Okay. Free these balls. Goodbye.